Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this session. Welcome to ICF Converge 2021. And let's get started. This session is about using technology in virtual coach training programs. My name is Samira Ali Baba, and I'll be the facilitator for this session. So a little bit about myself. I'm an ICF PCC, past president for Bahrain chapter, and a coach training program trainer and facilitator, a coach mentor, and so on. This session is more likely to be around you guys. So in the chat, write down, where are you from? Where are you coming? Are you a coach trainer? Are you a coach? What kind of coach? Let's give you some time there. And while you're doing that, let me just share with you the objective of today's session. This session will be about experience many innovative tools and platforms which can be used to enhance learners' engagements. Now, what are the tools that we can use in virtual environment that can enhance the learner engagement in our coach training program, or to be honest, in any coach training program or any other program, right? It's about the micro-learning. What do we mean by micro-learning? How can we add some elements of gamification in our classes? What is the concept of flipped classroom? And what are the strategies, maybe tools, platforms that we can use to enable these techniques? Yeah, and maybe also list some ways to use different platforms. What are the options available? And what are the things that we need to consider about each of these platforms before even, deciding to use them? All right. Why this topic? Because beside me being a coach and a trainer, I am passionate about technology tools and learning, about quality assurance, assessments, coaching cards. So this is kind of a hobby. Let's see, list some of your challenges in the chat. If you are a coach training program trainer, what were your earliest challenges when we shifted from in-person to online or virtual learning? And if you're not a trainer, then think about if you are a learner. I'm sure since last year, each of us attended so many online events, training programs. What were some main challenges? So I'm gonna share with you a couple of my challenges. I'm used to human interaction face-to-face in my training. I use a concept called play, think, learn, where people are interacting with each other. They are working in groups. They are putting sticky notes everywhere. I use a lot of agile concept strategies in my learning. And when that shifted to online, that was one of the big challenges. But something came in my mind, like 7 years ago. Yeah, something around 2015, when we had one of our programs where we delivered that program online because we had people coming from all over the world. I usually prefer to do the face-to-face, the in-person classroom base, and my colleague used to do the online version of it. And then one day my colleague said, "Hey, Samira, how about you doing the online one?" So I said, I'm not sure what kind of interaction we can do there. But in the process of 7 years of doing that, by the time pandemic hit us, I was in charge of doing 7 to 8 batches online. I preferred the online learning to class-based learning. And I collected so many tools to embed in my classroom. So what's more fun than when opportunity came, such as the pandemic, I was ready. So today I want to share a couple of ideas that might, create a shortcut for you guys if you want to improve your coach training programs. Yeah. So one of my favorite and first tool, let me just give you a note here. I'm not associated with any of these tools up until today in any kind. So I'm not marketing them. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not getting anything out of it. I just love these tools. These are so easy to use. So I thought this would be a good idea to share. Okay, how can we use Miro? How can we use Mural and the other tools, right? So my favorite one is Miro. Let's see how we use that. Let me just take you to my other screen. Right. So Miro is, think about Miro as a very big wall that you use it, in the classroom, we used to have those big space on the wall where people would take the sticky notes and place them there or put their posters. Now we can do that online. So in our coach training programs, we use, there are so many competencies that we cover in these programs. Miro enable us to create engagement online. For example, this is one of the activities that is around constellations. So if you want to do kind of a reflective session around what represents you today, or where are you now, if you look at the stadium as a coach or as a learner in your coach training program journey, where are you right now? Where is your client? Yeah. Where do you want to be? So what usually the students will do, I will share the screen or the link, and then I'll share the screen, then the link, and then I'll copy the board link and send it to them via the, the video conferencing platform, whether it's Zoom or it's Teams, GoToWebinar, whatever. It works for all of them smoothly. So when they come in, they have the option of, picking a sticky note, and I usually keep them ready. So I can just go to this area here on the left side. I can pick that, and voila, we have lots of sticky notes ready to use. Then I'll ask the students or the learners, pick one of them, and if you want to write your name on it, they can just simply bring it, and all this interaction happens live. Yeah. Then another use is I'm going to give them like lots of images, and then it's kind of a demonstration using maybe clean language or metaphors. Where do you stand now? What is your objective? Where do you want to be? So they can simply come and pick the card, and then I'll send them to breakout room. They will do kind of like a peer reflection together. Other ways to use Miro is, let's say this activity. If I'm coaching a team or I'm teaching the participants on how to coach a team, this is one of the activities that we do. I'll ask them, if we are a team and working towards our current project, where do we stand? Yeah? Who or what is each number of these, where each of us will, where are we right now in relation to the project that we are working? So this by itself, it's a 90-minute session for a group of 10 to 12 people together. Yeah. Another example is if you're using questions cards, such as we do a lot of question cards. This one is in Arabic, so let me show you some of the English ones. So we create them and keep them on the board. The learners will come online, and then they will select the questions they want. They take it to the side of board. In the breakout room, they will discuss how they can answer those. What is the impact of using this type of questions? Yeah. And of course, group activities, for example, class reflection or exit tickets. Miro is an excellent tool to use for exit tickets. So we are talking about what made you, mad in this session, sad, or what are you glad about? Sometimes we do the start, stop, continue. So I'll send them a link. They will come here. What do we need to start doing in this training session? What do we need to stop? And then I'll leave them for around 10 to 15 minutes to discuss between themselves, right? How to create these boards. These are actually very easy to create because Miro is very user-friendly. What I can do is I'll just go to the left side to the templates and go and find whatever I want. So you can see we have icebreakers, meetings, priority matrix, and let's say I'll just write here start. Right? Start, stop, continue. I'll just click on that. Okay. And here we go. We have one, which is a tiny one, but all you need to do is select it and then adjust the size according to your requirement. Yeah. So in less than 90 seconds, you have your board ready. Another way of using Miro is delivering the content. For example, if you are teaching them to use some kind of coaching tools, such as the Wheel of Life, yeah, they create the parameters of what they want to measure, and then they will use the dots or the lines to create their assessment, self-assessment. Let me go back to delivering content. You can copy paste your slides into Miro and then start delivering your content. Students can come in, they can put their comments and so on. Another way of using Miro is you create all your activities and then send the link of the Miro in your LMS system as a homework for the students to prepare for something. For example, some analysis. If you're doing some SWOT analysis around certain topic, they can do that. And once you meet in the online classroom, then they can just simply reflect on that together. Yeah. So this is Miro. Let me just come back to our slides. Yeah. So Miro is great for presentation, collaboration activities, for formative assessment, icebreakers, energizers, homework. You can also coach people on Miro. For example, we have a card deck which is already on Miro, and then when you're coaching someone when they're stuck, you can show them that and start a coaching conversation. And of course, for the assignments. So tell me in the chat, what do you think about Miro? Of course, feel free to write your questions about the tools. Since I'm already in the chat, I'll be answering them for you. There are free subscriptions for all tools which I'm going to share today, right? And Miro is one of them. The second tool is Mural. So let me take you to Mural. Okay, so Mural is similar to Miro, a little bit different in certain ideas. Let's share how it's a little bit different. So what we can do with Mural, same as what we did with Miro, you can post your assignments, group work, yeah? For example, this one was one of the activities, Lean Canvas. I was teaching the students how to use Lean Canvas. So you put it there, you share the link, make sure that you have a visitor link because not all of your learners will be members on your board. You copy the link, send it to their chat. Once they're here, if you notice this says group 1, that means each group can have their own board without being able to see the other group's answers. Yeah. So they can come here, they can write their answers, they can share, and then in the main room, when they come back to your main class, they can share the screen and show their findings. You can also use Mural for icebreaker activities. Right? For example, this one. It's just taking a while, no problem. Here we go. So it's like, who are you today? Which type of cartoon represents you? It's kind of like bringing some lightness to the session. Then I ask them, take these sticky notes and create a house, and let's see how long that would take you to do. Once they're done, then they will reflect on how did they work as a group, what they can do better, and then I have another mural board where they can prove that this can be done even faster. You can do lots of activities with this. And by the way, these are some of the templates available done by other mural users, such as this one as well. So let's say you want to add more activities in the same board. Yeah. So all you need to do is go to the frameworks. Okay. There are different designs here. Let's say you want to do some kind of comparison. Who, what, wow. Okay. And then we have the agile ones. Let's say you want to do a retro. So simply click on that. It comes on your board. Right? And you can just simply go there, give the students the link. They can come in and put their answers here. Yeah. There are so many templates ready in Mural where even the students, they can pick there if it's a homework for them. Let's say what tools you're going to use as a retrospective with the team that you're coaching. They can create their own as well. Okay. So Mural, quite similar to Miro, you can add music, you can add images, icons, you name it. Quite easy to use. So what do you think about Mural? Mural also, they have free subscription. They offer you free subscription, so you can use that. And as you see, in the free subscription, I think you have limited number of boards. However, in the pay one, you can use the same board again and again. That means if you have multiple batches and people are using, you're using the same program again and again, you can create multiple copies of the same board. Yeah. So here is one of the activities that we do as an exit ticket. I'll ask the students, pick a card, for anything you want to reflect on about the session, and then write your answers. There's another activity that we do as an icebreaker. For example, this was about paying attention, what comes in the figure and what's in the background. So I would say circle or put the sticky notes on a bird, for example, in this image. So if the students did that, that means they found the bird, or this, for example. Yeah. And then we have some fun around that, but the whole activity is when I told you what to see, what to look for, you actually put your attention to find that thing. And it's quite what happens with our coachees as well, isn't it? When they are focused on something, one specific thing, that's what they keep talking about. And that might be the figure that's emerging in the coaching conversation. Yeah. So it's a metaphoric way of teaching some concepts. We also do some social emotional learning activities using Mural or Miro. For example, the gratitude. Yeah. What are you grateful for today? What are you open for today? And they will pick these sticky notes and then they'll write, for example, I am open today for new learning. And then we also ask them, go ahead and tell us which one of these, sticky notes or answers from your colleagues resonated with you. Okay, so these were a couple of ideas using Mural. Are you ready for the third tool? So before we go to our third tool, Mural is quite similar to Miro. It's the same type of activities that we can use in our classroom. For example, presentations, collaborations, formative assessment, sometimes even summative, I would say. Let's say if the question or the assignment was create your own module or cards for coaching session or group coaching session. So they can actually create their cards and bring it on Miro, and they can submit it because you can download Miro and Mural as PDF. So you can have that as a evidence of student work. And of course, energizers, icebreakers, homework, and coaching sessions. So our third tool is DeckHive. Now, DeckHive is quite interesting tool. Let's see, why is that, Samira? So DeckHive is quite new, relatively new to comparing to the other tools. It gives you a space to use different cards, not necessarily the ones you created or I created, the ones created by other coaches and facilitators around the world. Yeah. So it has some free subscription option, and you will have a link in the presentation. The PowerPoint presentation is submitted, and you will find it with the course material or session material. Each image, if you click on it, it will take you to the platform. DeckHive, you will have a complimentary 2 weeks free to use it as a full subscription. Now, what is different about DeckHive? So let's say, I picked one and I'll activate this session. Okay. Right. Activate now. All right. So once you activate the session, you can send the link to your students. They can come in and they can pick the cards they want. So not necessarily all cards will be displayed for them. Yeah. And then the thing is, you can divide them into 3-4 groups, and each of them can have a table. So table 2, you have around maybe 3 or 4 people together. They are reflecting using the cards and sticky notes. There are people in table 3, there are people in table 4, and then later they can visit each other's table to see what their colleagues are working on. Yeah. So another way, if I'm going to leave this session, DeckHive is created by those very creative people who are working in the Strength Card group. I attended a session for them. Excellent people, amazing and very creative in their work. So they said, hey, we can create a platform for our own cards, but why not collaborate with other coaches around the world? Oh, okay, this was the paid one, okay, and use our cards with them. The beauty about the DeckHive as well, you can create your own cards and you can share it with people around the world. So they can come in and they can find your card. For example, these are some of the cards which I created. It was like a draft card. And then I can do the same thing, activate the session, send the link. The student can come in and divide it into groups. They can reflect using your cards. So this is as simple as it gets. However, the students, they love it, especially if it's for icebreakers and the group collaboration session. And the other thing is you can screenshot this, put it in the course material, and the students can reflect on it later or send it to them as an image. So this is a little bit about DeckHive. Let's check what is DeckHive good for. Yeah. So as we said, it's great for activities, collaboration, icebreakers, energizers, and coaching sessions as well. Okay. Are you ready for our next tool? Our next tool is Stormboard. Stormboard is one of very interesting tools because it works in a quite different way other than what we experienced with DeckHive and Mural and Miro. So Stormboard, this is how the dashboard will look like. It has the regular account and the educator account. I have the educator account. You can create a storm, which is a board, and you can create an activity. So let's say this was one of the sessions that we did in our ACTP program. Okay, so I was trying to teach the students how to use online platforms and merging it with the Scamper creative thinking tool. So you can simply create a board, right? Invite users via link, by ID or email. Once the users are here, they can add text. Okay, they can start a whiteboard. Okay, you can do anything on this whiteboard. They can download it as well. Okay, they can add an image, video, index card, or file. Now, this is also something good for to use with your team, not necessarily only the students. They can vote on each other's ideas. Okay, they can assign it as a task for anyone on the board. If we had people here, so I can assign some tasks to them. Not only that, they can chat together online. Okay, then I, as an instructor, I can see what people did on this session. As you see, these are the students' comments, their ideas, and who did we assign the task? Did they finish it on time or not? So how to create a storm? I can go to the dashboard, simply create a storm by clicking on Create Storm, give it a name, choose a template, and you see we have lots of templates here. If I clicked on, this is the interesting part about Stormboard, on guided template. So what is the difference between normal template and guided template? Let me show you. As you see, we have a lot of them here. Let's say I'm going to choose the 6 thinking hat for the SWOT. Doesn't matter. Let's go with 6 thinking hat. So I can preview it. It's okay. I'll choose it. Now I have a 6 thinking hat template ready. I can send the invitation to the students. They can come in and start the work using these 6 thinking hats. They can, 2 people, one of them can coach the other one and put some ideas here. Now, the difference between Mural and Miro and Stormboards, the guide. Okay. Each area of the 6 thinking hat, for example, information, the white hat, okay, it has questions already embedded in the platform to use for that specific area. Yeah. So, for example, what is the topic that you're discussing? Because white hat is all about information. Okay. Students don't need a facilitator. They do not need a facilitator in this specific session because they have a guide with questions ready, embedded already in the session. Yeah? What information is missing? What information do we have right now? Let's say if we are done with white hat, we want to go for the green hat. So automatically the screen will go to the green hat area and the green hat questions will come up. For example, what new ideas do we have? Is there any new concept that will move the project forward? This is also good for in coach training program because majority, not all, but majority of the questions are open-ended questions related to the model that they're using. For example, the six thinking hat as a tool, right? So this is Stormboard. The one of the areas that Stormboard doesn't work like the other ones, you cannot have multiple boards in one space. However, one board, one activity at a time, people can chat, you can watch them, they can do it off training hours, you can have a report about the board, so you can say, oh, I can get an Excel sheet about it, a word cloud, how many votes they've done, tasks, if there are any tasks they assign to each other. So this is how Stormboard works. Let's go to our presentation and see. You can use Stormboard for presentation, collaborations, formative assessment, icebreakers, homeworks, coaching assignments, and so on. So tell me, what do you think about Stormboards? If you want to do some online quizzes, there are Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, excellent ways of doing some quizzes. Let's say you want to add some fun. This one extra tool, quizzes, you can use that to create your own, kind of like a competition among the learners. So let's say, for example, let me just bring up one of the exit tickets. Let's say this was one of the exit tickets I used, right? So there are some questions which I created. This was for a class for leadership, I think. Yeah, leadership. And then all you need to do is start a live quiz. Do you want it classic or not? Do you want it within the team? Do you want to do it inside the class? Yes or no? Click on the instructions. The learners will join. Once they join, you can start this. They will compete among each other, and then you will see the ranking. There is music, it's fun, they have emojis, they can, beat each other, kind of like a race. Let's say you want to create your own. Yeah. So let's go to my library. Some of these quizzes are actually created from a quiz library. So if you created one previously, you can use it again, or you can find other quizzes from hundreds and thousands of other people. Like, it's similar to Kahoot, but it's just a different tool. How to create one? I can just click on create. It says, do you want to create a lesson, which is something interesting. You can actually embed your lesson, your slides in quizzes, and then embed the quizzes within those slides. However, let's do the quiz part. Okay, so you can name the quiz, and let me do that. I'll just name it test 1. Next, professional development. Do you want to add multiple choice, poll, open-ended, a slide, checkbook, fill in the blank? Let's say I want to add Q1, A1, A2, A3, which means answer 1, 2, 3. And then I can also select like answer 2 is the correct one. If I want to add some image, explanation, yeah. How long do you want this quiz to be? Let's say 20 seconds. Save. And that's how the quiz will look like. I can add the image and so on. So it's that easy to create an online quiz using quizzes. You can simply publish it, you can make it public, and so on. So I hope this is one of the tools that you can use for your formative assessment, exit tickets, summative assessments, or even class activities. Sometimes I would ask this when I train the students to use quizzes. I'll ask them, okay, create a quiz for our session today. And once they create, they facilitate the quizzes with their peers. So each group will create their own quiz, and then they might even exchange it and answer those questions. I just need to make sure that the questions are within the learning outcomes of the session. I hope it works. If you have any questions, please feel free to write it in the chat. I'll be answering them. So what other things you can use, Samira? You can use a lot of assessment tools. You can use a lot of gamification. However, it's not about the tool itself. Tool is the mean for us to, transfer the knowledge from the tutor or the facilitator to the learner. Yeah? So we can teach. The teaching can happen. We need some evidences that did the learning happen with the students. So in my personal training sessions, I try not to use more than one tool every 90 minutes. Our sessions can go up to 90 minutes in online. Yeah? I try to mix them, and I usually do an induction session for a long-term program, which has the tools websites, videos on how to use them. In the induction session, I will teach them how to use them, these tools. I will also, as part of the GDPR, I will put the privacy, the clauses or the process or statements of these tools, policies in our LMS for students to be aware that if we are using these tools, these are third-party tools, they have their own privacy policy. If you agree, that means we are allowed to use them in the classroom. Yeah. I usually have a backup plan, so you will find the same board on Miro and Mural. Just in case if one of them didn't work, I have a backup plan. There is nothing wrong in using no tool in your session. If tools are not required, do not use them. Yeah. Take feedback from the learners. Ask them, what do you think about today's session? Of course, there are hundreds of tools, hundreds. Literally, I have folders like a toy shop, online toy shop. So experiment things, test them, look for alternatives. Yeah? Do not complicate things. Yeah? Do not get. Sometimes I send a link for a quiz and it's not landing. The students cannot open it in their mobiles or their laptops. It's okay. I can just send them a Google form later on. Right? So what other considerations from your point of view you think we should consider when we use online tools? By the way, none of these tools I was officially trained on using them, because these tools are those type of toys that you learn by playing with them. There are hundreds and thousands of videos in YouTube. You can simply, just write virtual training tools. You will find literally hundreds and thousands of them. Yeah. So how to use Miro in Google, play with it, experiment with it. I noticed that there are some considerations such as language, age, the number of people in your training session will impact the effectiveness of using these tools. So consider these while you're doing your, in the planning part. I will always put the link of whatever I'm using in the lesson plan, just in case if somebody else will use that lesson plan for their sessions, they will have a link to go to that specific board and activity template. Okay, so that's for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this session, and if you really want to connect with me, I'll be here for some time. You can write your questions. You can connect with me through LinkedIn or my email. I'm around here in the ICF Convert, moving around the sessions as well. So let's connect. Let's make our learning more impactful. And then stay safe. And thank you for being here.